Hi everyone. So I just watched Parasite and it was an absolutely brilliant movie. I can see why it won that Oscar. There's so much social commentary around there. I was talking to a couple of friends about this as well, just in terms of like the difference between rich and poor and various different symbolism. But what really struck me at the start of that movie was just the pure power of the referral. So this whole family, and I'm going to be careful here because there could be spoilers alert. So just be mindful of that as you're watching this if you haven't watched the movie. But towards the beginning of the movie, how this all gets started is this one kid, and I'm sorry I don't remember the names, but this one kid who's a family of four, his friend refers him into a tutoring role, and he's going away abroad for a semester or something like that. He needs someone to cover his tutoring, and he wants to give his friend a chance as well and to make some income. So he refers him to the child's parents or mother. And then he goes, he does an interview, he does a live session. It's like, great, you're hired. And then he ends up referring his entire family so that they all get jobs with this family. And the mother, who is the employer in this case, she still barely knows this person who is tutoring her daughter, but is so willing to take this other person's recommendation so willingly and so willfully, saying that, this is someone, I trust you, so anyone that you trust, I trust, therefore let's give them a chance. And so it speaks to, the power of the referral, but also the failings of interviews sometimes too. And as a hiring manager, I think we really do weight more towards referrals as well, because and it's in our nature, right? We like reviews, we like people who've had previous experience. It takes a lot of work off of us and off of um what we have to do as good consumers. And like, think about all of our review sites. We have Yelp, there's Trustpilot, there's all these recommendations and review sites, and like you on even on Airbnb, you're looking for the 5-star ratings as well. So like, and that's how a lot of companies will build trust with their products too, is through reviews and recommendations. Amazon as well. So like, we really do value the firsthand experience of other people, and people that we trust. And in this case, sometimes you don't even necessarily truly trust them. You just trust their opinion, because they're taking the work away from you because they've had this firsthand experience, or so they claim, as we've discovered in the movie Parasite. So I just really wanted to, and then it started to have me reflect as well in terms like my own experience and where I've ended up in my career, and how much of that was driven by me versus how much was driven by the fact that I was referred. And so I wanted to run through my LinkedIn profile with you and just give you a little bit of commentary on how I got my foot in the door, and hopefully this will just illustrate the power of referrals as well. So let me just share my screen. So this is my LinkedIn profile. I'm going to scroll to the very, very bottom. Well, not the very bottom, the bottom of my experience. And here you see my first experience. I was a clerical assistant for a solicitor's office, and I was 15. So I started work somewhat early, and this was offered to me through my math teacher. So I'd had a really rough year that year. It was the year I lost my dad, and the teacher really appreciated my resilience, I suppose. And she knew the owner of this solicitor's firm, and anyone who's in the US, this is basically a lawyer's firm. And she recommended me to this person. So I went and showed up. I did a 1-day trial, and I was working there part-time for 2 years. It took a lot of strain off my mother, who was trying to continue to put food on the table. I had my own pocket money. And this was the start of it. So again, a referral, someone who knew me, someone who trusted me, who knew someone who was looking for someone, put me in touch, and magic happens, got a role. This was also a referral, and this is when I was in college. I was doing a mentorship program. At the time, I thought I wanted to be a journalist or work in TV and media production. And so my mentor program paired me with someone who had ins with the industry, and I'd met with them a couple of times, had some really good conversations, did a little bit of work for them or helped them with a couple of bits and pieces. And then he found out about this show, Tonight with Craig Doyle, that was doing a pilot, and they were hoping to be extended and actually go live to TV. So for that pilot episode, while they were filming, he recommended me and someone else. to basically act as a runner. So basically doing all the grunt work and making sure people were happy, they were fed, they had drinks, whatever the guests needed, we took care of. And this show did get picked up. And then because I'd done so well in that one day experience, they invited me back to help as well. So I was on that for 8 weeks, all while doing this as well. So I had 2 jobs at the one time. This role came from an application through the college career center. And so they had an internship program where there was companies who put internship opportunities onto the college website, and I applied through there. I got it. So this was an application. This was also an application. So I went on to Germany 4 years, part of my studies, and also had to get an internship. I had no network in Germany, so I was like applying everywhere. Anything that had the word practicum or internship, and I was applying to it. So this took me, I would say, a solid 50 to 60 applications to get this job. So that was an application. This recruiting associate role in LinkedIn was what I would call a soft referral. So I was a scholarship student in my university for socioeconomically disadvantaged people. And by virtue of that, I got the opportunity to interview at LinkedIn. And the story here is that their head of talent acquisition was very familiar with the program. She had an intern from this program in the past, was really impressed with just the work ethic, the tenacity, the positivity, the resilience, and the openness to feedback, that when they were launching their first internship program in EMEA, to help with the hiring efforts, they offered people in my program and in my scholarship program a pass to immediately interview. You didn't have to apply. You could just go straight to a recruiter call. And they're doing internships for like marketing, for HR, for analyst positions as well. So they were hiring across the board. And I found out about this because I had also, back here, if you look at my volunteer experience, I offered to help the Access Service, which was the program I was on, over the course of a month, just to help them with some documentation and just kind of more admin, just to take the load off of them. I had a bit of extra time, and I wanted to give back to the scholarship program that was helping me get through college. So by building a relationship with those program managers and coordinators, they gave me a heads up that this was something that was going to be offered, and they got me in there sooner than the rest of the cohort got. So, and they made sure I was informed, and they made sure that I was taking advantage of this opportunity, and then the rest of it was up to me in terms of like interview day and how I did. So that was a soft referral, I would say. And then my time at LinkedIn ended, and then this role with Workday, that was an application. And again, I was submitting lots of applications, and I did have a couple of offers. So it was a really good time to be a recruiter in Dublin at that time. And then Adroll Group, 5.5 years there. My first role there was as a sourcing recruiter in Dublin. And how I got into that was actually through an agency. So I had seen a role for a EMEA startup where they were looking for their first recruiter, and basically their EMEA head of talent. Me, with my 1.5 years experience, thought I was qualified and shot my application in just to see what would happen. But the recruiter saw something in my resume and gave me a call anyway, told me obviously I was not qualified for a head of EMEA talent acquisition role, but that they did have another startup that was looking for a solid recruiter and if I'd be interested. So I was interested, and it was exploratory in nature, and then it got more serious. And then I joined this company, built good relationships with the VP of HR, who was on my interview panel, and built a good relationship with the director of global recruiting, who ended up ultimately hiring me, even though I didn't report into her. And then had a good couple of years there in Dublin. I eventually decided that I wanted to move abroad, had a conversation with my manager, and he brought that conversation to his boss, who was the VP of HR, who'd been in my interview process and who had visited Dublin a couple of times, and I had some really good conversations with her. Thankfully, she was very, very supportive. She liked what I was able to do, and she approved an international move, and that's how I got to San Francisco. So in some sense, that was like almost kind of like a referral, but on the basis of a strong relationship and backed up by strong experience and results. And then my time moving on from Adroll Group and into Airbnb, that was a referral from the director of global recruiting, who had originally hired me into Adroll Group. And so this became a referral. So nearly half of my experiences have been referrals. And I would say the easiest interview experiences that I've had were, and fastest experiences that I had was when I was referred versus when I had applied. So, thinking back on Parasite then, and the like 4 people ended up employed from one referral, because it's a network effect. So it just speaks to the importance of relationship building, and then having a strong reputation with the people that you're working with, and really doing the work and having the results to show that you are worth the time, you are worth the money, and you're going to deliver, you're going to be reliable, you're going to be dependable. And the more people who know that about you, the easier it's going to be to get referrals and get your foot in the door. I think a lot of students underestimate this, and something that they can do is, get to know your professors, get to know your different program people, really understand them, help them out as well if you can. And then they'll have networks as well that you can tap into. They're not going to offer their network to every student, but if you're someone that they appreciate, they value your time, they value what you've done for them, or how you've approached your relationship with them, they're going to help you out. So just continue to build relationships. Referrals are so important. Your network is so important. LinkedIn is built on the idea of having a network, and having different degrees of separation as well, that you can quickly bridge that gap so that you have a direct connection with people. So leverage your network, and also give back to it. And it's the best way to go. So if you have any questions about networking or generating referrals, I will be developing content around this in, I would say, a couple of months, but I will be posting more videos. I can share some experiences from referral or network conversations that I've had, and how I've been able to build those relationships. But if you're interested in continuing to learn more, please like, share, and subscribe, but then also join our Facebook community as well. The link is down in the description. So I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, comment or reach out to me. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon and sharing more tidbits of information. Take care, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy networking.